As if nature functions like a clock. You take it apart, reduce it to a number of small, simple pieces, easy to understand, analyze them, put them all back together again, and then you understand the whole.
Isn't that what's known as scientific thinking, Miss Hoffman? Really? What you call the mechanistic view, isn't that what the scientific method's all about?
Is it?
Well, I don't think so, but I'd like to kind of hear from the physicist, Jack.
All right, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Well, you're right in a way, Mr.
Jack. Call me Jack.
Okay, Jack. You are right in a sense. But it wasn't always so. Not before Descartes. When he introduced such thinking, it amounted to a revolutionary break with the church. He said, I don't need the Pope to tell me how the world functions. I can find that out for myself. Because to me, the world is just a machine. And then he became fascinated with clockworks and made the clock into a central metaphor. He said, I consider the human body as nothing but a machine.
We lost some of the sense of being all one, but we got our freedom. That's not a bad trade-off, really.
I don't know. Still don't know if it's worth it. If we haven't lost more than we've gained, all I ever hear anybody talk about today is themselves. I wrote a poem once. It's titled, The Stones Speak, I Am Silent.
Well, at least you're free to think what you want and do what you can about it. Think of the poor guy who had to carry the stones up the hill to build this place. He didn't have any say in his life at all.
See, my point isn't to condemn Descartes' thinking. It's simply to recognize its limitations. It might have been extremely useful to perceive the world as a machine for 300 years, but that perception today is not only inaccurate, it's actually harmful. We need a new vision of the world. Instead of concentrating on basic building blocks, the systems view concentrates on principles of organization. Instead of cutting things to pieces, it looks at the living system as a whole.
How can you think usefully about things in this holistic way? That's what I don't see. You can contemplate them, you can look at them, as Thomas says. But if you want to do something, if you want to get into specifics, by definition, don't you have to take things apart? How can you talk usefully about a tree without talking about its roots or its leaves or its bark?
Oh, I could. Without even naming the parts you mentioned. Well, a Cartesian would look at a tree and conceptually take it to pieces. But then he would never really understand the nature of the tree. A systems thinker would look at a tree and see the seasonal exchange between tree and earth, earth and sky. Would see the annual cycle, which really is one big breath the earth takes through its forests, providing us with oxygen, a breath of life, linking the earth with the sky and us with the universe. A systems thinker would look at the tree and see the life of the tree only in relation to the life of the whole forest. Would see the tree as a habitat for birds, a home for insects. But if you look at a tree and try to understand it as something separate, you will be bewildered by the millions of fruits it's producing in its lifetime, because only 1 or 2 trees will grow from those fruits. So if you look at the tree and see it as a member of a larger living system, that abundance of fruits will make sense, because hundreds upon hundreds of forest animals and birds will survive because of them.
Web of relationships.
Yes, but this time it is the web of life itself.
No man is an island.
Entire of itself, every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Therefore, never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.
Interdependence. And the tree cannot survive on its own either. To draw water from the ground, it needs the fungus that grows at the tip of each root. And the fungus needs the root to survive, and the root needs the fungus. If one dies, the other dies. And there are millions of relationships like this in our world, each depending on each other for life. The systems theory recognizes this web of relationships as the essence of all living things. To that eternal question, what is life?
Okay, Sonia, let's hear it. What's life?
Life is self-organized. Well, that's just extraordinary.
Yes, it is. And it means something specific, too. It means that a living system is self-maintaining, self-renewing, self-transcending.
What does self-maintaining mean?
Well, it means that a living system, although depending on its environment, is not determined by it. Because, you see, the pattern of our organization is still the same. That's one of the important characteristics of life. Continuous structural change, but stability in the pattern of the system's organization.
And that's all there is to life?
No, there is self-transcending. See, self-organization is not only the living systems maintaining themselves and continuously renewing themselves. It also means that they have an inherent tendency to transcend themselves, to reach out and create new forms.
We're standing on.
Okay. We would blow the atom, the cherry, up to the size of this island. Okay, then the nucleus would be the size of a small pebble. Something like that. And the electrons would be much smaller still. We would have to look for them all the way down there at the edge of the island. And the whole space in between would be empty.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's weird. That's even weirder than poetry. Where are the other people in your system, Sonia? The ones you love. The real people with their qualities, their longings, their weaknesses.
Mom, are you okay?
Where are you inside there, Sonia? Where's Kit?